Hi, I'm Vanessa Weisbrod from the Celiac Disease Program at Children's National Health System, and I'm here today with Allison Godfrey, a health and eating specialist at Whole Foods Market. Today we're going to talk about cleaning out your pantry and freezer to make them safe for living a gluten-free lifestyle. So Allison, where do we start?
The first step is going to be deciding whether or not you want to have a completely gluten-free pantry or if you want to have a shared space, so having gluten and non-gluten products.
And that's really important because not every family can have a totally gluten-free kitchen.
Exactly.
So what kind of items do I need to look for to take out of the pantry?
So we're going to look for things with wheat, barley, and rye. So anything that says wheat right across the label, because you're really going to be focusing on wheat, barley, and rye products. So these stone ground wheat crackers, anything that says organic wheat, those things are going to have to go.
Now, breakfast is one of my favorite meals of the day. It gets you started in the morning. Are breakfast foods like cereal and granola bars safe?
Unfortunately, breakfast is one of the harder ones to tackle, and those are definitely items that you're going to have to get rid of and take out of your pantry. So breakfast cereals, they tend to contain gluten, or cereal bars, granola bars, or toaster pastries, all made with a wheat base. So unfortunately, they have to go.
How about sauces?
So sauces, a lot of them can be gluten-free if they're made with tomatoes, olive oil, those things that are naturally gluten-free. Just to be safe, you want to check those labels for sure. Some condiments are a little bit different, so you'll definitely need to get rid of malt vinegar. It's the only vinegar that isn't gluten-free. Soy sauce and teriyaki sauce also contain gluten, so you'll have to get rid of those.
But when it comes to things like beans or canned fruits and vegetables, peanut butter, do those things have to go or are they okay?
So luckily those are also naturally gluten-free, which is awesome. So things like vegetables or beans that are canned, those can stay and they are naturally gluten-free. Peanut butter and jams are naturally gluten-free, which is great, but if you've had them in your house while you've also had bread and have used knives in them, you'll want to get rid of them just for cross-contamination purposes to make sure no breadcrumbs are left in them.
So if it's a shared space, you could even have 2 jars.
Exactly,
right?
Yep, exactly. And carefully label each one, which one's for gluten-free and which one's not.
So how about soups? Are those okay?
Soup, you would think would be naturally gluten-free all the time, and it is a lot of the time, but it's another one that you're gonna have to read the labels on. Some soups have gluten, some do not. So for example, this New England clam chowder has gluten in it, unfortunately, so it's gonna be something that has to go. But other soups might be fine, like vegetable and broth-based soups.
So we talk a lot about oats. Oats in their natural form are gluten-free, so do these oats have to go?
Yeah, so oats is a tricky one for some people because they are naturally gluten-free, which is nice, but they're usually processed in a facility with other gluten-containing grains, so you have to be really careful and make sure you get ones that were certified gluten-free to make sure there was no cross-contamination issues.
Now I'm assuming my regular spaghetti is not any longer welcome in my gluten-free pantry.
Regular wheat-based pasta is going to be one of those things that goes along with a lot of noodles, so egg noodles of the like, and mac and cheese, boxed pastas, or even some boxed grain varieties that you might just heat up in the microwave, those kind of things. You'll have to check those out more carefully.
Now, Allison, please tell me that my organic whole almonds are okay.
Oh, you're good on the almonds. Nuts, seeds that have been untouched that are just their whole form, those are all naturally gluten-free as well.
So there's a lot of things you talked about that we have to get rid of. So how about we get rid of those from my pantry and put them in these Whole Foods bags to give to our local food pantry so that others can enjoy them.
Perfect.
Wow, Allison, the pantry looks amazing. It's filled with so many great products. Can you tell me a little bit about what you added in?
Yes. So we did a lot of one-to-one replacements, which were really easy. So these Snyder's of Hanover pretzels, for example, they easily replaced the pretzels that we had in there before. Breakfast stuff, the beloved cereals and granolas and those kind of things, we were easily able to find a lot of gluten-free products to replace those. So Nature's Path cereals, Udi's gluten-free granola, some Glutino toaster pastries. Those are all great replacements for the breakfast items.
Now I see you put some sauces in here. I thought we couldn't do the soy sauce and teriyaki.
So traditional versions of them, definitely, because they contain gluten. But Sanjay makes a line of gluten-free products that could easily be in the pantry. So they make a teriyaki sauce, a tamari that is gluten-free, so we can have those.
That's great. Now, with pasta, I saw that you put a bunch of rice and quinoa pastas in there. Are those pretty standard gluten-free pastas?
So one of the good things about going gluten-free is that there are still so many grains that are gluten-free that you can eat. So pastas made from things like rice and quinoa are still going to be able to be a part of your diet. And there are so many different types of pastas out there made of those things. So we have a couple different products in here. A mac and cheese by Ancient Harvest made with quinoa, and an Annie's pasta as well. So those are all really great considerations for if you're getting rid of regular pasta.
So what about soups? I see a few over here.
Definitely. So these Pacific brand broths and the butternut squash soup and the Imagine tomato soup, those are all gluten-free. So those brands are very well trusted in terms of gluten-free products and soups. So they're good ones to go to.
And I think I noticed when we were putting them in, they were thickened with cornstarch and rice flour.
Exactly. So none of those wheat-based things like in the clam chowder before.
Let's talk about some snack foods. I see some soft baked cookies from Enjoy Life Double Chocolate. That just sounds really good to me.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the main things people keep in their pantry, if we're being serious, is snacks, some treats, things like that. So we wanted to include a lot of things like that you could have. So Enjoy Life does make those really great cookies that you see. Annie's makes a variety of cookies that are shaped like bunnies, so definitely great for kids. And then of course there's a lot of different kinds of crackers that are made with rice and other grains.
And I have to point out these Char wafer cookies. Those just
look
really wonderful.
They're really good too. You wouldn't even know that they were gluten-free. They're awesome.
So I'm definitely a baker. So let's talk about the bottom shelf here.
Yeah, so there is definitely a wide variety of gluten-free all-purpose baking mixes, which is great. If it's Pamela's, Bob's Red Mill, King Arthur flour, those are all great choices. If you're into making your own gluten-free mixes, they also sell different varieties of flours that are gluten-free.
So those would be like almond flour, tapioca flour,
exactly.
Those kinds of things,
Yes.
sorghum flour.
Yes, exactly.
And how about for pancakes? I see a pancake mix down there.
Pamela's and some of those other brands I mentioned before also have a lot of mixes that are already made. So if you're used to making cake from a box or cornbread or things like that, you can find those mixes at the store and easily make them so you don't have to make them from scratch.
I see you threw in a chocolate cake and a fudge brownie back there. That's
yeah,
pretty exciting.
I can't deny that I had to sneak those in the pantry for sure.
So now this pantry looked absolutely amazing and totally gluten-free. But what would I need to do differently if we were going to be a shared household?
You could either do a couple different things. So one would be dividing the pantry, so having some dedicated gluten-free shelves and shelves that contain gluten. So separating the items and labeling them accordingly.
So if I'm going to have gluten-containing in here, would I want to put them on the top of the pantry or on the bottom of the pantry?
Gluten-containing on the bottom, just to prevent anything from falling into your gluten-free products, but also it's just kind of nice as common courtesy for someone who can't eat gluten, for them to be able to open the pantry and see all things that they can eat and not stuff that they can't eat and have to dig through that for gluten-free products.
Allison, those are some really great points, and I can't wait to try everything in my gluten-free pantry now, but I think we should definitely head over to the freezer.
Let's do it.